but I've not been able to reach her yet.
Okay, then we need to establish contact and see whether she's all right, because
Yes.
there's so much uncertainty in the system. So these days, I've made it a
Well, I actually WhatsApped her during the day, so I don't know
Okay.
why she hasn't joined.
yeah. It's very good for us to be, you know, looking after each other's back, because these days the uncertainties in the system is so much so that you always have to look out for people. At least the small that I have come to learn during my few weeks in bed, it's not easy. It's very lonely, eh? When you're not well, it's a completely different paradise. So yeah, it's good for us to look after everybody. All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I've started recording, so that perhaps we can get some playbacks on that. So from what we explained yesterday, the introduction, the little bit of introduction that we had, I think we've got a sense of what we are currently doing now, i.e. tourism and hospitality, management, and how all of us are actually fitting in one way or the other from the kind of work that we're doing. Today, I think we'll move a step further to understanding the consumer, i.e., okay, let me just share the screen. Understanding the kind of people that we'll be working with. And when I say the kind of people we'll be working with, not necessarily our staff, but the very people that are the reasons why we're here. We are trying to understand the industry because of the consumers, isn't it? Because of the people that we serve. And they are the reasons why we're here, to understand what it means by hospitality, what it means by tourism, and then what it means by the players in the industry, which precisely the key one is the consumers. All right. Now, we should understand that the consumer behavior is actually central to marketing. And in fact, it's central to almost everything else we do. If you look at communication, for example, we say that your audience is the key. You've got to understand who your audience is, who are you communicating with, who they are, how do they, go out for what they want, etc. In the same way, when it comes to business, the consumer is key. In fact, you do not compromise at all on the demands of the consumer. The day that you decide that you want to be the decision maker, you're out of business. And I'm sure most of you who are already in the business doing it, I'm not the one to tell you. I'm just a teacher. You know what it means by the consumer being the decision maker. If you replace the consumer to be the decision maker, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. You will be out of business in no time. So the kind of decision that you've been taking, perhaps you don't see the nuances of the consumer's, influence in the decisions, because you probably would think, oh, today, yeah, I've had an order, and they say, oh, what can you do for us? And then you say, oh, we'll do this. It doesn't mean that you are the one taking the decision. Majority of the decisions that you're taking is first and foremost influenced by what the consumer said they wanted. And when you explain to them whether what you explained really fitted what their expectations were, are the reasons why you're in business. So I think that if you don't take anything at all from today's class, you have to take one thing, and that is it. Regardless of what you do as your business, regardless of how you do it as your business, make sure that every step on the way, the consumer is actually what? Defining them, or defining the actions that you're taking, every step on the way. And if you take this gospel truth, I am very sure that you'll be very, very successful. If you don't, you are going to be out of business in no time. And I know the reason why, and I'll tell you as we go along. And I'm sure a lot of you I've already come to that particular gospel truth. So what do we understand by the tourist consumer behavior? Remember, we are doing hospitality and tourism. Now, hospitality, the consumer that is actually patronizing the hospitality service is actually the tourist. And as we said, majority of the times, I mean, within the hospitality, we may have domestic, consumers, patronizing. But because of the industry that we're in, it could even be a local person, but in a tourism or a tourist capacity. So we describe the other international tourist or domestic tourist. Their expectations are completely different from the normal consumer. In fact, you live in Ghana, yet when you travel from your locality to another locality, and the idea that you are living or you are staying in a hotel, the idea that you are living in a bed and breakfast, in fact, the idea that you are living even in a 5-star hotel, your attitude and your behavior is completely different. Do you get it? It doesn't matter whether you paid for or you didn't pay for. The idea that, hey, I've been sent to a 5-star hotel. Now we say a 5-star. How is this bed laid a 5-star bed? Do you get it? You wouldn't even think that somebody paid for you. The idea that you've been paid to sleep in 5-star, you expect that the bed has to be laid in a particular way that reflects 5-star. You hear people say something like, I thought they said this is a 5-star hotel. Because he feels that having said there's 5-star, in fact, they are expecting a golden bed for them to launch themselves in. In fact, some people are even expecting that because they say it's 5-star, in the morning somebody will come and say, Koko Kompacho, Adiachi, sorry. You get my point. So the consumer's behavior and attitude is completely consumed by the kind of service that they are actually anticipating. And immediately we don't get that right, we are out of business. So we must actually have that appreciation of who is the tourist consumer, how do they behave, and how do we use that information to make the right decisions in order that they could appreciate the kind of service that we're offering. All right. At this juncture, I'll leave you guys to ask a questions or two, and then we can continue. Or make an observation. Even your own self, let me ask you, the last time that you moved to a hospitality setting, it could be a hotel, it could be a restaurant, it could be anything. What was your behavior, or even not you, but your colleagues, etc.? What did you take notice of are some of the behaviors and attitudes when people actually participate in a hospitality or tourism program? Yes? Pump up. I told you the class is interactive. I don't talk much. So, yes, let me hear you. The last time you were in a hotel or you were in a hospitality setting of a sort. Yes? I'm listening.
Say, I'm sorry, but my line went off, so I didn't get the bit.
Okay.
You said the last time you went to a hotel.
Yeah, so the question I'm posing is that the last time that you went into a hospitality setting, whether you went into a hotel, a restaurant, or whether you or your friends or colleagues or whatever, what was the attitude? What were some of the things that you took notice of at the attitude of yourselves or your friends? What were the behaviors? How things pan out, etc.?
Let me tell you about my personal experience. Let me share my personal experience. Last year, on the 7th of December, I went to Sogakope for a trip. I mean, I went on a trip.
Yeah.
And when we arrived, we had traveled a very long journey. And when we arrived, we were told to sit at the reception. And it's like a day trip full of activities, and we were supposed to spend a night
Mm-hmm.
So we got there and we were sitting at the reception for close to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And arrangements were done, allocation of rooms. It took 40 minutes. And with me, considering my experience,
yeah,
I was like, we spent too much time at the reception. Keys were now being brought, locations were, and you know, when we checked into our rooms, we were supposed to assemble for us to be taken around, for us to embark on an activity. I mean, and I found it I didn't find it so cool because, first of all, we were too tired.
Yeah.
You know, when you check somebody into a hotel room or you check somebody somewhere, the person might have been very tired considering the journey or something. So immediately the person will want to take a rest.
Yeah.
But the service that the front desk together with the management gave us was not good.
Excellent.
It wasn't good. And you could see from everybody's face, what kind of service are they giving us? They should know that we're tired. We traveled 3 hours and then we are here. We are not being given.
Now, Kwame, everybody started asking. Pause it. Now, I hope you guys are taking notes. Now, currently, as Kwame is explaining, my number one question, just up to what he has explained, what is the expectation of the tourist? And tourist here, I'm referring to Kwame and his people. From what he has said, the comment they were passing, what was the tourist expectation? Yes? Go. I want to answer quickly. What was, Kwame has said it, and that's what I'm repeating it. What came across as the tourist expectation? Yeah? Please. Gloria, you want to say something?
Yes, please.
Excellent.
I think their expectation was before they get there, the arrangement should be done so that when they get there, as they have been through a lot or been on a long journey, by the time they get there, everything should be ready for them to get in rest and then have some.
So the key word here is immediately we get there, I need a rest.
Yes.
Because the key word here was they should know we are tired. Are you with me? They should know we are tired. So the expectation, one of the expectations, don't even go into quality service, whether the place is nice and that. The truest expectation was that having embarked on this long journey, how I wish I can have one long stretch on the bed to have some needed rest before I even think of going through look for whatever. Number one expectation. Are you with me? So now that expectation is now long drawn, sitting out for keys, for this, for that. And everybody is looking at their faces and say, my friend, what's happening here? Now, mark another thing. Here is Kwame and his team. They are not far from anywhere. They are from Accra to Sogakope. Are you with me? Now, put it from a contextual, geographic contextual perspective, all right, and cultural perspective. He is a Ghanaian. He's not far away from Sogakope. So there is an affinity. There is a knowing of the terrain, all right, that he knows the terrain. He's a Ghanaian. So certain things may not be so new to him because he knows how the Ghanaian cultural sentiments are, right? And how the Ghanaian service sentiments are. So perhaps he probably can even tolerate a little bit of wasting time. Now, replace Kwame, a Ghanaian, with Kwame, a Black American. Are you listening to me? Now, replace Kwame, a Ghanaian, with a Kwame Black American who has absolutely no tolerance For Nkwasiasem, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, key is coming. Is not here. What do you think will be the feeling or the expectation of Kwame as a Black American in this scenario? What do you think is going to happen right there? Fireworks. Why? Why is it going to be fireworks? Because from the demographics, from the geographics where he's coming from, in America, service quality, service time, turnaround time, 5 minutes, it's a no, completely no. Let alone to talk about what? 40 minutes? Are you kidding me? A Black American is going to call and say, hey, yo, what's up? What's going on? And then they will start blasting, and they're not going to talk undertone like Kwame is undertoning. And this Ghanaian attitude, we start watching each other's faces and say, hey, no more there, no more there. Black American, hey, yo, what's going on? They will start blasting in your ear. Are you with me? And immediately, your entire service is in jeopardy. In fact, some of them are even going to insist on their driver to drive them to another place. Case closed. Are you getting me? So we're looking at the tourist consumer behavior. And from this behavior, as we're talking about, in fact, if you look at the Ghanaian tourist behavior, 40 minutes, absolutely too long, but this is how we are. We will tolerate, and we'll be watching each other, and even sometimes may not even have the balls to be complaining because we may be thinking that they will say, we must do more, papa. But if you take the tourist not to be Kwame as a Ghanaian, but tourist as Kwame as a Black American or a Brit, man, you are in trouble. You are in absolute trouble. I'm not even going to use the word shit, sorry. But you are in completely shitty position. Are you with me? All right, Mercedes, you lifted your hand.
Yes, please, Patricia wants you to let her in.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right, good. So, yeah, you wanted to ask a question as well or make a contribution?
No, please.
Okay, so you understand the scenario that we're talking about. Okay, so Kwame, continue the story a little bit.
Thank you. So it took them time for us to be allocated rooms, and at the same time, we had activities we were supposed to participate in. Already, we're far behind time. It's a one-day trip. It was a one-day trip, and so
okay. So hold on now.
Imagine you checking into your room.
Kwame, hold on. You see, what yesterday we were talking about. The person has a one-day holiday to enjoy maximum. You have already taken 40 minutes out of that one day, and the activities have not even started. Are you with me? Now, clearly, what more can these tourists do with the rest of the time allocated? So imagine that the kind of service that you're offering, the idea that, oh, when we get it wrong or when we delay, we are going to ask them for their forgiveness. It's a no, because the point is that it is not about forgive me. It's about you wasted my money because I have only one day and you have managed to chop off 40 minutes. Do you get it? Man, next time if I get one day again, I'm not coming to you there because you are complete useless service. Are you with me? Okay, let's go ahead. We are mapping out the tourist consumer's behavior and how that's in with strategy. All right, go on. Yeah, Kwame, go on.
So Thank you. So what the next thing was that when allocations were done, I mean, people paid according to, you know, they had rooms, they had single rooms. There people people came with their partners, and so some booked for executive, some booked for deluxe, some booked for standard room, and you could hear people tell, I mean, the organizers that, and in fact the management, that they weren't too satisfied because this is not what I paid for. I didn't pay for this kind of room, and so before we could resolve all these and then start participating in our activities, we had already spent close to 3 hours.
Wow.
We hadn't even taken lunch.
This is a trip.
And so there were lots of I mean, complaints. And you can imagine if you are an organizer and you're looking into the future, hoping to organize something like this another time. I mean, you've already lost it.
Yeah.
So there was lots of I mean, a lot of people weren't satisfied. That's all I'll say about that.
Fantastic. Right, great. Yes. Now let's listen to you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I listening to what Kwame is saying, not to defend the hotel.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I understand the fact that the customer is always right and all of that. But deducting from what he's saying, it sounds like they didn't put adequate preparation in their accommodation.
Who didn't?
Kwame's people.
Yeah.
Because I visit hotels a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been, especially in Ghana too. So we usually like trips, going for trips and stuff like that. And we've been receiving really generous, I mean, hospitable services from these receptionists and all of that. But it sounds like you guys were a lot. And it sounds like, I don't know if you booked ahead of time. I don't know if, and usually these places, they have a lot of people coming in. So they have to make preparations for you. They have to get some people out and then get some in and all of that. So I wouldn't really fault them entirely for what went on. Well, I don't know, but sounds like you guys could have put in a little more preparation.
Okay, now, my number one reaction will be that that's a completely no area. Customer is not at fault. In my class, that's one thing you have to get it. Customer is not at fault. No matter what, customer is not at fault. And that's why we are learning strategy, all right? Now, one thing that you must have, and all of you are suppliers, have it in your mind that you can moan, you can be angry in your quiet time with your team, all right? And you can even complain about the customer, but never to the customer's hearing. No way. Never to the customer's hearing that it was your fault. No chance. Are you with me? But in our exclusive places, we can actually say that what the customer was at fault. That is when we are speaking to ourselves and trying to solve the issue. Are you with me? Never to the customer's hearing that they were at fault, etc. So that one should not be part of the, service recovery conversations. Are you with me? But I can understand the point that you're making, which we'll come and address. All right, I'll come and address that issue. Okay, so who else wanted to say something? Bless, did I see your hand up? Who is iPhone? Okay, yeah, it's still Kwame's.
Kwame, yes. Sorry, but I'm not to bore my colleagues because I find myself in the industry.
Yeah, of course.
Once upon a time, try to come in one at a time. And what it is that I there's something I've realized in hospitality. Yeah. People expect heaven. People expect heaven.
Yeah.
When someone comes in, he's leaving his home to a hospital, a hotel he's paying for, he's coming to a restaurant he's paying, or he or she is paying for, and so they want to see things so different from what they see in their homes,
Absolutely.
what they're experiencing wherever. So once the person is paying for, I tell my people I work with and my colleagues that let's give the people heaven. He wants to see something different. So when you walk in, the person is tired, and this is not a time. Okay, please, we are bringing you your key. No, we are 30. It's a 30-man group. We come in, and by now your check-in list should have been ready. The location of rooms should have been ready, because the organizer had told the people 1 year before the time that we are coming. Even if it's just a month, your check, sign in, sign out sheets should have been very ready. They come, okay, we have 4 deluxe rooms, we have 3 executive rooms, we have 4 single rooms. All these things should have been in place. Your concierge, those who be taking the people to their rooms, should have been very ready. Absolutely. So when you put all these in place, I mean, you wouldn't have problems. You have a lot of thumbs up. So what I'm trying to put across is people want to see the best. They don't want to have any excuse. And it's a field people should tolerate. For me, I've learned how to be very tolerant, especially with regards to this field. If you're not tolerant, you cannot be in this field.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let me say something, and now clarity on the point that you are raising. Now, even if an order comes an hour, especially in this COVID, where there are almost vacant rooms everywhere. Imagine that you get a request, just in an hour. There's a notice that 500 people wants to come to your facility, and your facility can actually take those 500. All right. Now, immediately you get that information. If you are a prepared facility, your number one reaction will be that, what is the makeup of the 500 people? Are you with me? And that's why segmentation is very crucial. What is the makeup? How many men? How many women? How many couple? How many children? Are you with me? Now, your segmentation quickly kicks in, and asking questions. How many of them, of these 500, are couple that they need to stay together? All right. Now, out of this couple, how many of them have children below the age of 18? Or how many of them have children that have to be lived with? All right. How many of them are actually wanting to share, next door neighbor with the other colleagues? So all these thinking caps are actually getting on. You're answering all these, asking all these crucial questions, all right? And then asking yourself again, how many of them actually wanting maybe a sea view, if there is a sea view? How many of them wanting maybe a little bit of privacy? Now, you've got to actually kick in with all your necessary hospitality questions, all right? Now, once you pose these questions to the group organizer, they are now supposed to identify with and say, set 1 is such people, set 2 is such people, set 3 is such people. Now, once you get that information, you have to look out for the gaps questions again. What about food? How many of them are actually Ghanaians and can perhaps take local food? How many of them may not be able to take local food? How many of them want to try local food? Are you with me? You are asking almost every goddamn question so that you know that by the time the group is here, you have all the critical questions that you have already answered in terms of your allocations and in terms of the preparation. And by the way, do you really want people to be sitting down at the receptionist whilst you sort out the questions that you haven't actually been asked before? Where are some of the resting places that you can ask people to hold in the meantime whilst you even deal with the things that you actually have to deal with. What are the holding rooms? What are the places that people can hold? And when they were holding, what are the juices that people can be drinking? What are some of the nice things that you can actually let them hold on to? Do you get my point? So
yeah.
Now I can appreciate, but it is no excuse that you would not at least have some kind of preparation to hold the consumers to make sure that they can have a relief whilst you even sort out some of your lapses. It's a complete number one to do. Are you with me? So for me, we have to be very tactical. And as I'm going to go through activity cycle, etc. with you, you would have some of the strategies that you can put together to hold off any consumer sentiment before they become very, very, very dissatisfied, with your service. And that could actually help us a lot. Are you with me? All right. Any other questions? Somebody wanted to ask a question.
Yes, sir. I raised my hand.
Okay, yeah. No.
So I also wanted to add to what Kwame was saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of some of these hotels and restaurants in Ghana here, precisely, they promise more than they can actually deliver. Yeah. So you see that when they are putting advertisements out there, they'll tell you we are giving this percentage off, but you get there and then they'll say, oh, that was for some time. Now you have to pay for this. And then they'll tell you, okay, we have this. And in fact, the pictures they'll even put out there, when you get there, you're like, this is not what I actually saw.
Photoshops.
And
Photoshops.
Another thing, another thing too is that usually they are understaffed. So there are lots of people, there are not a lot of people to provide almost all the services that you require at those places.
Excellent. So these are some of the issues that we are dealing with, all right? Now, how do we make sure that we stay authentic through to ourselves that this is what we are offering, and then making sure that now, one of the reasons why I love to talk about the Pando experience. Look, the Pando place that I went to, a very, very simple hotel, but I was absolutely happy to be there. The one that I said they should turn off the air conditioner and give me fan. All right. Look, the room was no fantastically exorbitant place, but simply neat. Do you get it? Very, very simple and neat. With a very whitish bed sheet, fantastic bedding. I mean, the pillow, all right, far much, softer than what I sleep on. And that's why, Kwame was saying that when you move out of your home to a hotel, you expect heaven. Because you think that, hey, it's been about 6 months, 1 year, he hasn't even slept in a hotel before. Do you get it? Some people, to be honest, for 10 years, they don't sleep in hotels before. And then thank God today they are going to sleep in a hotel. And then you say what? They should have the concrete bed just like what they have in home. It won't happen. Do you get it? So those expectations are some of the things that we have to be mindful of, that the consumer should have. But one particular thing we should always remember, that the same person who is your next door, all right, if your hotel is here, all right, the hotel is just this by my house, all right, that next person who is your next door, immediately he becomes your hotel client, the expectation is completely different. Are you with me? It's like a girlfriend who has become a wife, all right? When you have a girlfriend and they become a wife, there is something in their minds. I don't know what is in a woman's mind, right? But immediately they move from a girlfriend to become a wife, the attitude and everything changes completely. Do you get it? One of my friends said it, Lord Mesa. Lord Mesa said, Jack, who are you?
The campaign is over.
Lord Mesa said, Jack, my married a girlfriend by a wife, that just I didn't that change the crowd. That starts the crowd when you say, now I'm an official wife. And then So that is how the attitude of the consumer is, all right? The person could be living next door by your hotel, but immediately they become a client of your hotel. Look, complete different attitude, different behavior. The expectations and then the awareness is completely different. You can't just say, oh, are you not the one who is just staying by my next door? No. He's not a consumer or a tourist or a consumer of a hospitality. They expect heaven and you must deliver. Are you with me? Excellent. Okay, so let's go on. So we're now going to look at analyzing consumption behavior of the tourist. All right, we'll outline the typologies of tourists, within Ghanaian context as well. We'll interpret what we call the information search and decision-making processes. And then, of course, we'll look at motivators and the deterrents, all right? Now, the typologies of, tourists. When we talk about the types of tourists, who do we, or what kind of types do we have, all right? We're actually looking at somebody who, tours like culture and heritage, all right? Tourist typology, we're looking at culture and heritage. Those who actually, looking out for, coming in for culture or heritage stuff. And if you take typically the Black Americans, all right, majority of them, they come for culture and heritage, all right. We're looking at Emancipation Day, we're looking at Panafest, we're looking at, Kowu, yeah? We're looking at Kundum celebrations, We're looking at all these, festivals that we have, and then all these, heritage, historic stuff that we have. So the type of tourist who is actually coming for culture and heritage definitely has a different expectation, all right, from the one who is coming for leisure and pleasure. Are you with me? Which means that when you're actually undertaking the background checks of the tourist, you have to ask yourself, what is this tourist coming for? Do you get it? Because the one who is coming for leisure and pleasure, all right, he's actually looking at maybe a Holiday Inn, all right, Royal Senchi kind of settings, all right, and the activities that they want to engage in are very much of leisure types. You're looking at sunlight at the beach, lying at the beach, maybe some sun soaking, all right? They want to tan their bodies, do you get it? And they want to be just taking some nice shots of maybe the beaches or the river banks of, Volta River, all right? Now, more pleasurable activities that are very not too giddy. Do you get it? And having some nice shots that could remind them, and having some serene atmospheres where they could be reading their books, all right, and reflecting on some business plans. Now, that tourist is completely different from the one who is coming for culture and heritage. Are you with me? So immediately, the background, or they actually put in the request for coming to your facility. Your number one question would be that, what are you in this country for? All right? And that question should have a bearing on your strategy, including the meet and greet that you're going to send the driver to do. Are you with me? Majority of our staff that do meet and greet have no idea even the purpose of the one they are going to pick from the airport. Do you get it? So if the staff who is going to be the first point of contact to pick this tourist from the airport into the facility has no idea that this guy is actually coming from leisure or coming from for leisure and pleasure. And he starts talking about some historic things and things like that. Of course, there will be some tourists who will be attentive and they may be listening, etc. But the person's preoccupation is actually not about heritage stuff. In fact, they don't even want to hear about Kwame Nkrumah and whether he did a stowaway and he fought for Africa and all that. They don't even want to hear that. All right? Yet this is what your person who is going to do meet and greet is talking about. Without knowing the profile of the particular tourist who is coming in, completely out of touch. Do you get it? So it is important that we should know the typology of the tourist. Who is that tourist coming? Apart from their demographics, what is their purpose? Why are they in the country? And that must actually define the conversation and must actually sit with a strategy, going forward. All right. Now, in that case, the facility that you are going to host this tourist in, what are some of the culture and heritage points, events, activities that you have that are listed that you can actually signpost your guest, to have? A lot of facilities do not even have a list of, activities or events or attractions or, destinations that actually host culture and heritage, activities in this country. Majority of our facilities do not have that. All right. But if we are prepared, we should know that perhaps when you take the culture and heritage, this is the map of culture and heritage. Perhaps Asimfosu is one of the, heritage point areas. Maybe Cape Coast, Elmina, this and that. This is the activities you can take in. You can go to do the last slave bath. You can do this, you can do that. We must have that information so that when the tourist who is coming actually has that background and has that profile, we'll be able to signpost them to the right places. Am I right? Yeah, Kwame, you want to ask a question?
I'm okay. There's no question, I'm okay.
Okay. Any other questions or contribution on culture and heritage? Okay, Jemima.
I don't know, my reality when it comes to consumer behavior, I have about 3 or 4 scenarios.
Okay, yeah.
Because of where I come from.
Yeah.
You have a state institution that has a staff strength of about 3,000.
Yeah.
And from time to time, I have staff from maybe your sister port coming to Takoradi to work, sometimes even for conferencing. There's an instance where, we already have guest houses, even about 4 of them.
Yeah.
But deliberately, because they want to go to a hotel because there's an avenue for them, nothing you give them is okay. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's amazing the kind of stories they put up. One time, someone called me. I was just about to sleep one Sunday morning. Not in the morning. Like, I think I was having a very bad headache. I was trying to sleep. Yeah. And I got a call. There's this person from Tema, apparently an officer like me, but probably of a higher grade.
Yeah.
She didn't know what happens here in Takoradi. I run a different system from Tema.
Yeah.
There's actually even no attendance there. You have the keys from the security and go and sort yours. Everything is there.
Yeah.
You just go. And she got there. She was so angry. No one welcomed her.
Yeah.
And it's a Sunday. She makes up stories that the whole place is wet. The place. So I go there and everything she was saying is not true. And in fact, I got angry. I mean, hospitality, so we just do it as it is. I just told her in a so dramatic. So dramatic. Is that what you do when you go to Tema? Meanwhile, to my experience, because I'm a Takrati staff, and I go to Tema, I don't think she being in Tema knows what we Takrati people also go through when we come to Tema.
Yeah.
But also, I have a case that even though if I were in Tema, I would supervise those there. Probably maybe because I'm young and they don't know me. I was even sick. They left me and even went to watch TV, but they didn't know. I just kept my cool and called their general manager for them to give me. Said I didn't have an authorization letter, so they don't know. They just made a scene. And some way, somehow, I got to the GM and it was like, oh, they are your staff. I didn't even know their names. So sometimes you could see that there's a deliberate intent by the customer to create problems just because they know, oh, if they find fault with the guest house, it's a nice way, oh, then go to a hotel. They want the hotel. And there are times too, personally, of course, there are times I don't get the guest house, I go to a hotel. Then you realize there are times you are bathing, the water won't come. There are times you just, and sometimes you should appreciate that our hotels age. Most of the old hotels, if you see the color of the towels and how much they still want to collect, it beats my mind. I don't know, comment is way, but I just can't. You want to charge 450 Ghana cedis plus, and the color of your towel is not white. I just don't understand.
Okay. All right. Good question.
So please, I think that well, for me, with what I'm seeing with the tourist typologies, maybe I wanted to see a business or some of our managers, all they want is internet connection to work. Yeah. So whatever you do, if even the bed is not and the internet is working, they are okay.
I agree.
So sometimes the customers,
yeah, I'll answer your question. Before I'll answer your question, let me, Kwame, come in quickly and let me answer that question.
Very well. So thanks for indulging me once again. I will, from time in time, I will share my experience. Once again, I'm just about to. Now, I have worked in the field for some time. I've risen to a certain stage. Now, I sometimes, when I go out, I put myself into the shoes of those who come to us. When I say us, as an operator, when I go out to say, for instance, I go to sleep in a hotel. Now, when I walk in, anytime I have to make a comment, I said, no, I don't want this room. This room is dirty. Here is then I ask myself, is it how the guests relate to me when they come to me? Yeah. So I try to put myself, you see, everybody wants to get it right. You walk into a hotel or a restaurant and you go to a restaurant, you want to see the table cleared. Yeah. People don't want to see what they are experiencing in their homes. They are paying money. They are paying money. And so, first of all, you might have an bad internet service. I mean, as part of what the service you are giving to your guests. But it should be right. You don't have an excuse. You see, even when you have an excuse, you should communicate it well. For instance, I walk into a hotel and it's internet I want. I don't want the way you've laid your bed or how spacious your room is or whether your bathhouse is working or not. It's internet service. So when the person walks in, first of all, you, the service provider, please, sometimes we should be very smart. Sometimes when a guest walks in here as a leader, I'm able to tell. So quickly I tell my people, this is the kind of person I assume this person is. The person is technologically inclined. So probably the person will want to have good internet service. So quickly I tell them, please, immediately you check the person in, tell the person that, say, I know you will want internet service, but it looks like our internet service is a little poor, but we can do something about it. So what you do is that even though the person wants a very good internet service, you make sure your other services are good and speak with a lot of decorum. Speak with a lot of decorum. You know, tell the person, speak, oh, please, can I help you? This is what you keep getting. Then the person forgets about that service. Then you try to put that service right.
Yeah. You're right. Excellent. Now, before I come again, Ruth, I think your hand is up, right? Bless.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I've just been patient and listening to my colleagues. They sound so interesting. Hey, colleagues. I can't wait for us to, finish this course and start running a hotel. You know what? I used to work with Aqua Safari.
Yeah.
And sweetie, sometimes we do our best. You understand? Mm-hmm. Sometimes whatever, recommendations doesn't only go to the hotel or the resorts, but you, the personality, you, the person yourself.
Yeah.
You understand? You have a lot of recommendations, and sweetie, sometimes you try, but we have very, 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 in fact, very interesting customers. I understand, as you are saying, the internet is not working, so other services should be perfect.
Yeah.
My darling, you can do everything. Or no internet now, or no. Yeah. You can the other services can be 99% on point, but that 1%, oh Betty.
That is why it's called hospitality.
Yeah.
I tell you, hey, sweetie, sometimes I get home, as Doc was saying, you can't get angry, in front of the customer, you can't, sweetie, I can only go to the back office and scream and shout. I'm like, if you meet me outside, you think you can talk to me the way you are talking to me. You go back there and be talking to yourself. Yeah. Sometimes it gets crazy. Yeah. You understand? They do their best. You see, internet will be working as you don't control it. You understand? Internet will be working, and then 2 minutes is off. And then sometimes when we have this back to back, the same customers, the same guests, the same clients that we have, maybe it's supposed to check out at 2. It's supposed to check out at 12. So the room can be made for somebody to check in at 2.
Yeah.
But this customer will be dragging the customers will be dragging their feet, doing this. Oh, can I have some 30 minutes? I'll pack out soon. What will you do? Are you going to drag the person out?
Yeah.
You understand? But if if that customer who is in there, who doesn't want to leave at 12, knowing that he or she has to leave at 12, is the same customer coming from outside, and you tell him or her that he should give you 15 minutes. Oh, Betty, do you understand what I'm saying? The same customer will be the same customer in there, but doesn't want to leave at 12, wants to buy time. But if he's 10, and she is the one checking in, what do you mean? I've been sitting here, I've been doing this. Aqua Safari, sometimes we want them to go for a boat cruise so that others can come out. Then we make up the room for, oh, sweetie. Oh. So sometimes they try.
Bless.
Sweetie, I'm not defending.
Bless.
Yes,
I can understand the point that you're making. And for me, I'm one of your typical customers that you may want to scream at the back door. Seriously. I can tell you that. I will give you hell. Let me give you a typical example. We were in Akosombo, and there was this. In fact, I wanted to swim, so we're looking for this period. None of the places a lot of places have shut down their swimming. Yeah. But eventually we had one. So we had one and we went there. But then we decided to sleep in a different hotel. Look, my number one question, just like Pammy was saying, was internet. Because I have clients' business that I'm supposed to deliver. And I needed to work. As I'm speaking, client just called me and said, I need a brochure. So I needed internet connectivity. And do you know the first thing that I was told when I said, hey, where's your Wi-Fi? They told me the Wi-Fi is for the manager, the owner, sorry.
Really?
I'm telling you. And I was like, yo, can you say that? What did you say there? I said, oh, the Wi-Fi is for the owner. I said,
Already.
look, like my heart was like, it was like something had gone through my ear. Then I go, where is the owner? Then they say the owner is gone to Accra. Then, imagine. Then I nearly called Spencer and asked Spencer that when they come to Akosombo to inspect the hotels, I'm giving a particular name of that hotel. They should deduct 10 points from their man. I'm serious. And the way the lady told me that the Wi-Fi was for the owner, believe it.
Oh, but say, if it's for the owner, why shouldn't he tell you or she tell you?
No.
I'm just teasing you.
I know. So I mean, in this scenario, how do you expect me to actually take that information that a whole Wi-Fi for a whole facility is for the owner, and the owner has logged it and decided to go to Accra?
Sometimes you lack reading.
So, by the way, let me come back to the question that Jemima posted. Jemima, the marketing is actually a backroom activity before the customer comes in. Are you with me? And that's why we're learning this. Now, hospitality and tourism marketing strategy must be built, all right, and then implemented. You don't actually do it at the point of the consumer, in the presence of you. Are you with me? Now, the point I'm trying to drive is that perhaps what your outfit has to actually understand is that why is that behavior of staff looking forward to a hotel as opposed to the facility that the port has put together or has put forward for them? Are you with me? Yes. Now, let me give you typical examples. You know, when faculty or when staff of sister staff, when they move from one location to the other. So let's say your Tema colleagues, when they are coming to Takrady, all right? And your Takrady colleagues, when they are going to Tema, there is a set expectation, all right? Hey, Tema life, all right? Hey, Tema life, Charlie, I go experience Tema life, all right? Now, the Tema people too, when they are going, hey, Charlie, they say Takrady life, right? I'm going to experience Takrady life. Do you get it? Now, the idea of Tema life or Takrady life does not reside in the property or the facility of the same company that they work with. It must reside outside. Do you get it? It must be out there, not within the port setup. It doesn't necessarily mean that your accommodation facility is within the port. It could even be outside, or very far away. But the idea that I am still within the vicinity of the company that I work with, people don't like it. Remember, it is also about privacy. Do you get it? Yeah. It is also about privacy. You work there, and I work there. And when I'm coming down with my 1 or 2 cigarettes and things, I do not want any of my colleagues or anybody to be actually around. Are you with me? So the behavior is, and see, there are certain faculty, all right, when they go to hotels, they want their cars to be draped. I'm sure, Kwame, you know that, all right? Immediately they drive in their cars, they want you to drape their car complete. Oh yeah, Completely. So, in fact, some people will call, I have some colleagues, they will call and say, Jack, me drive here, but me do kataso. So they drive into the property, zoom, then the car is covered, zoom. All right? That one, you won't see the human being where they pass or whatever they pass, that's it. All right? And we're looking at the consumer behavior. Why do people patronize hotel? Even when they are going to places where they have mansions, you know, some people can go to Tadi. Me, sometimes when I go to Tadi, my family, my entire family is in Takad. But sometimes I don't even call them that I'm coming to Takad. All right? Why? Because I don't want to go home. I don't want the family things of, hey, Kobnabo, coach here. No business. So quietly come in, do my thing, and then quietly move out. I'm gone. Do you get it? So you must first of all find out about why is it that staff, when they are being sent to Takad, do not want to use the facility put forward by the port. All right? And vice versa. Now, by having that understanding, and that data cannot be directly acquired from people. You know, sometimes when you ask people in an official setting, they won't tell you. But you just want to observe what they do when they come and observe their movement. You can start articulating the reasons why they do not want to use the facility and why they are finding you unnecessary excuses just to escape there and then go to a hotel. Are you with me? Once that has been identified, you could then use it to reform the place, all right? And then to use it to manage people's expectations. So, and maybe it's even one of the reasons why perhaps the Tema one, nobody is even there to guard or to usher you somebody in. Perhaps that could be even the idea behind it. Are you with me? So for me, I think that the crucial point for you is to understand that behavior, that consumer behavior. Why is it that they would always find you excuses just because they want you to send them to a hotel? Start to understand that particular reason why. And once you understand that particular reason why, you can then start use that to manage that. Are you with me? Yeah, you want to say something?
Yes, I think that the states run kind of, we are not like the traditional profit-making hospitality enterprise. So you realize that even more interestingly, there's this thing we call segregation. You know, there's management staff, there's senior staff, there's junior staff. Yeah. So you realize that you find that for managers, hey, when they cough, we get a cold. Yes, and it goes down. But at least if even you're a junior staff and you're a hotel, the hotel will at least will give you everything. Because even for the junior guest houses, they don't even have Wi-Fi. And genuinely, you will find that a junior staff wants to work and might need Wi-Fi. Yeah. You get it? Yeah. And within the context of providing what the customer wants, you find that it is going to cost you money. And you see that they are a little reluctant. Probably they don't even appreciate. Maybe me sitting behind the back office, knowing how much we are spending on hotels and the cost savings we make when we are able to get our staff into the guest houses. They don't even appreciate those things. So maybe we can make a case so that at least it will be very difficult to make it standard across all categories. I don't see that happening.
See, the difficulty you guys are actually having here is that you are defining the consumer's want from organizational or institutional perspective. Okay. Because you're looking at it from cost savings and things. No. In fact, even if you tell that staff that one will make that cost saving, will add it to your salary, they still don't want to sleep there. I'm telling you. Because at that material moment, he's not looking for salary increment. He's looking for a certain kind of freedom that he's gotten far away from his wife, that he wants to spend his time somewhere. I can tell you that. Look.
Very necessary.
Right.
Let me tell you about St. Augustine's College boys, right? We were supposed to have an anniversary. Anyway, by the way, if your husband is a St. Augustine's College boy, it's not part of the conversation I'm having.
Masa, that day.
Hop Sunday here. Hop Sunday.
Hey, Hobson.
Yes.
Do you remember your Hobson?
Yes. No. Yes, I'm a Hobson.
Okay, so I'm telling you about your boys. Look,
Yeah, boys.
see, when we were supposed to have the anniversary, all right, the 90th anniversary, I'm telling you, some people told their wives that they are supposed to be in Cape Coast 1 month before the anniversary.
Very true.
1 month.
Goodness.
Very true.
I'm telling you, people say they advanced him, so they have to be in Cape Coast a month before. And the question is, a month, what are you going to do there? They say, oh, they are the ones taking care of the rehabilitation of the rooms and things. Look, people have reasons why they want to leave. Do you get it? So even at that material moment, if you have to give them monetary incentives, they are not interested. Do you get it? So I think that, yes, the idea of the port making savings, if people opt for the guest homes and the guest rooms and the guest houses, is fantastic, but that is your perspective as an institution. You must start understanding why is it that even the ladies still do not want to be in the guest house. Why is it that even the guys, the management or the junior staff still do not want to be at the guest house, but they want to be far away in a hotel? Now, that understanding can help you start thinking, how do we then operate it? And then when people are coming in, what words, what conversations, what things must you tell them so that the place excites them? I mean, what probably you may also have to do is to augment the kinds of services, all right? You may think that, look, for me, Wi-Fi expectation is so basic that if you're a facility and immediately I enter the facility and I don't see, oh, Wi-Fi login, username, password, you are not serious, all right? Immediately, if I enter a facility, the number one thing I want to see at your reception is Wi-Fi username, Wi-Fi password. I don't even have to ask. That is supposed to be displayed there, big time, all right? Then quickly I just log in. Then we can have other conversations, all right? These days, the issue of DSTV and the sports channels and things are so basic that if your facility do not have those things, and now people have to be asking you and say, oh, how do I get the channel this, channel that? You're out of business. Are you with me? So there are certain things that, as we're discussing consumer behavior, they are behavioral. They are consistent, demands from people. And those things must be so basic. Imagine that if you have, this kind of atmosphere where even in your facility, all right from the beginning, there's a pool, there's a DSTVs that's showing all those sports activities, etc. The person who is actually coming there, the guest who is actually coming from Tema, all right? And then there is information about, oh, it's not so far away from Club B, Club C. It's not so far away from that. It is not, the person may not even opt for the hotel after all, because you have already given them, associations to certain places that they may want to go and while away time and then come in. But as they are coming, they think that they are coming to Gapoa property guest house, which may be far away from some club place, from some Savannah beach, from some island beach. So they in their minds, it's going to be restrictive. But you had actually already demonstrated how that is not far away from Allen Beach. Oh, this one is not far away from Vienna Beach. Oh, there's a Club Paragon next door.
We actually have a facility at the estuary. In
exactly.
Beach Road.
Yeah, but you see, that facility at the estuary, are they full of Gapua people or they are full of ordinary people?
Yeah, I think it's I think 10 rooms. I think four are already occupied. So you have about 6. So people go in and come. Yeah.
Exactly. But that's what he doesn't want. He doesn't want to see Gapua people all along, dotted around.
But when we travel as a team to a hotel, about 8 people all going to hotel, we stay.
But let me tell you something.
We're excited.
We have been to conferences, all right, at UGBS faculty. We've been to conferences in Atlanta. And then we, the young guys, we tell ourselves, Charlie, these professors, we just make our minds say, when we start booking the hotels, and you hear professors say, hey, Kobe, are we going for the conference hotel? Yes, and they will let them book first. Me and Lord Mason go and book some downtown hotel long, far away from them. Okay. You get it? Because we know, sir, if you book the same hotel with these professors, you'll be there, they will come and knock your door. Oh, let's go and see her sit at some beach, whatever. No, master. You call us out. So, exactly. You see, so you should understand some of the behaviors and then the categories of the attendees, all right? Because the younger ones want to live a completely different life from the maybe much older, faculty or much older colleagues, all right, who also want to have. So you've got to have that understanding and look at that permutations. Otherwise, you will be mistaken and thinking, oh, they've got to be here, all right? Patricia, you want to say something? Hello, Patricia. Okay, all right, so let's continue. Now, of course, the typologies, we're talking about the tourist typologies and the way they may behave, all right? So we're looking at also people, pilgrimages and spirituality. Typologies or tourists who are coming for pilgrimage and spirituality just will be like culture and heritage people, all right? These are people who are looking out for the ancestry. We recently had Danny Glover and Co coming here. You have, what do you call, all these, stars, celebrities coming here and things, looking into their ancestry. Now, what are some of the packages do you have, for them to actually fall in within their narrative, the things that they are looking forward to, etc. Those who are coming for health and wellness, what must you have to actually fit into their narrative? Wildlife and nature, business and leisure, all these things, you must actually have that background of the tourist, all right, in order that you could actually fit in well with the kind of thing that they actually looking at, all right. Okay, so next one is about the tourism service industry. Kwame, you wanted to say something?
So I'm okay. Let's go ahead.
Now let's look at the service in the tourism and the hospitality industry. Just like we've been discussing, all right. The industry is a service type, all right. So it means that just like we have in the normal service industry, like banking, like any other service, the same thing pertains. You have your internal and your external customers, and as we were talking about, you see the external customers, the impact that your internal customers would have on the service would transfer onto the external service delivery, isn't it? So if internally, the service provision from the food to room service to frontline, front desk, etc., amongst them, if the coordination is not smart and is not prompt, definitely the quality would impact on what the customer eventually receives, isn't it? So you want to make sure that there is a fluid relationship between the internal staff, i.e., those who are for front desk, those who are for room service, those who are at the bed and the kitchen, beverage and whatever. All right, those who are. You want to make sure that there's a kind of coordination and there's a kind of uniformity and there's a kind of professionalism. All right, that each and every one of them are exhibiting towards each other. And having that seamlessly, produced in terms of the service quality would further on, impact the external consumer, which is the tourist or the hospitality consumer that you actually serve it. So you want to make sure that the interactivity between these two, both the internal and then the external, customer, is very fluid, and making sure that people are actually getting the required, service that they need in order that you can have a satisfactory, delivery. Now, what we have here is what we call customer activity cycle. Now, the customer activity cycle is very, very important for us. So we must pay attention, all right? Now, it guides us in strategy because it puts us in the mind and in the posture of the consumer who we are about to serve. It's about we trying to predict, what they expect from us or what they expect to do, and using that expectation to build our infrastructure or to build our activities and processes in order that we can meet that set expectation that they have. And I keep telling, students that customers in hospitality and tourism are the most difficult, and just like what Bless was talking about, they are the most difficult ones you can ever have. Why? Because the experiences are diverse, all right? If you take a customer of a bank, all right, if you take the customer of financial services, at least they are dealing with maybe one geographic, service. So a customer of Stanchart is a Stanchart or Barclays, or they are all Ghanaian banks, all right? Now, if you take a typical customer of a hotel, all right, that person might have traveled 10 continents, not 10 continents, let's say 5 continents in just one trip. Are you with me? They've been to 5 continents in one trip. So in 1 month, that person has experienced maybe 5 different service quality levels. So by the time they hit your property, they have come from Hong Kong. All right? Do you know the service quality in Hong Kong? Absolutely top notch. And right after Hong Kong, they jumped into a plane to Ghana. So when they get to Ghana and the service is hey, what? Is this the kind of service you guys are actually experiencing here? Are you with me? So the service quality level that is expected by a hospitality and tourism customer, you have no idea. You have no idea, because they can't actually bring themselves to a level where yesterday they were in Hyatt, all right? Hyatt in maybe Cancun, all right? You know Cancun. Cancun is Mexico, one of these, paradise. I'm sure now you know Cancun, so you're shaking your head, you see? Yeah. They were in Cancun last night, and the kind of service they tasted, they only flew a plane, jumped to the next set, and then Accra Agbain. They got to Accra, come and see service level. Jesus Christ. They will be asking themselves whether, in fact, have they just landed in hell, or they are still revolving around the globe called Earth. Are you with me? And that is the difficulty we have as hospitality and tourism players, because our customers have very deep throat, like their taste for service quality is unparalleled. because of the diverse cultures that they can just fly through within a very short period of time. Are you with me? All right, Joanne, you want to say something? Joanne?
Sir.
Yeah.
Please, my question is the service quality not depending on the amount that the customer is paying? Assuming, let's say you visit a hotel and you are paying 50 Ghana cedis, should you be thinking of all these great services? Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Who can answer that question? Okay, let me ask you, Joan, can you give me 50 Ghana smile? How much? So, how much smile must you give for 50 Ghana?
Well, sir, that one I cannot quantify it, but
okay.
I'm just thinking that customers should also not be expecting too much, depending on how much they have paid.
See?
Yes, because if you have paid only 50 cedis, you should expect some simple service, and you should be okay.
So if I pay you 50 Ghana, your smile will be halfway, right?
Oh, sir, no, but I'm just thinking that this notion that customers are always right, they have to look at it again, because
really,
I don't think, yes, there should be a debate and that thing should be amended, whether it is in a constitution or something. We should look at it. Yes, because I had an experience with a friend where she was asked to go and serve a customer. I was then with Freedom Hotel. I think you said you have visited that place.
Yes. I've been there.
Yes, I was doing some part-time there. So she went to serve one customer, and the customer was trying to take advantage of her. She was carrying some plates and other things.
Yeah.
The thing got broken, and management was saying that she has to pay for those things. And I was like, why should she pay? The person was holding the thing, and the customer tickled her from behind, and she left the things.
Okay, but that's not part of service, though.
So those things, customers are not always right.
No,
I can even slap the customer if I choose to.
Of course.
Yes.
But that's exactly
harassment.
That's exactly the difference. You see, that's exactly some of the things that we need to conscientize.
But sir, the way they handled the case was really bad. When we went to report to management, they told us that he sleeping there at night is our salary, so they will not do anything about it. Yes, and it was true. That time we were taking 300 Ghana cedis, and the man is going to sleep there for a night, and he's going to pay almost 300. So they couldn't even do anything about it.
So definitely that one is a no. That's not a service. Yeah, now you wanted to say something.
Say yes. So I mean, I'm glad Joanne asked. There's some feedback. I'm glad Joanne asked the question she asked, because I was thinking that so if it's a service that we are talking about, then it's actually cheap, because the same service that Hong Kong can provide, we can provide the same here in Ghana.
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm thinking service is not a product.
No.
And if Hong Kong's facility is some ultra modern facility, and they are giving this particular kind of service, although I have, like, let's say a madhouse here, I can provide the same service. So in that case, if it is a service we are poaching, then we can, I don't see how a service in a particular, like a more modern a more developed country can be different from that of a developing country, because it's service.
You're right.
Yes, and so and when you said that, how much do you pay for a smile? Yes, so it means that. So then I don't see. Then I think that the service can be defined across.
Yeah, of course. You see, when we talk about service provision, you have to define what your service is. And that's why in marketing, we have what we call the promised, the service promise. All right. What does the organization promise to give the customer? So if I say that in my hotel, and that's what usually we capture that in what we call the strap line or the slogan, right? So there are some hotels that says, home away from home. It must mean something. You must define what that means.
The main mantra in hospitality.
Exactly. Right? So somebody will say that we define hospitality, all right, or we redefine hospitality. Somebody will say that, your peace of mind or something, all right. Now, whenever you are actually providing the service, you're looking at it from different perspectives, all right. Service as in the supporting activity that goes along with the bedding, the food, the drink, and all those ones, everybody can imitate it. I mean, it's the same bed. You can find it in Hong Kong, you can find it in Ghana, all right? It could be the same fan turning. It could be the same bed. But the idea is the level of curtsies, all right? The number of thank yous, the number of, do you want more water? Let me tell you something. We were in Atlanta. Oh my God. We were so damned, like every 20, less than 5 minutes. We're sitting there. The lady will come and say, oh, do you want more water? And meanwhile, by the time she asks her, do you want more water? She's already holding the water, and then she's filling the cups. Oh, do you want more water? Then she fills it. Oh, do you want more water? Then she fills it. All right. In Ghana, when you are calling the barman, oh, I need water. She's having conversation also. Do you get it? These are the kind of things that we're talking about. Kwame, you wanted to say something? You wanted to say something?
Thank you very much. It's an observation we've all made, but one thing that I've come to realize that our field is a field that needs a lot of orientation. Yeah. It's a field that we don't have a lot of people formally trained. And so you see a lot of dropouts, and you need to teach them. You need to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
For instance, a lot of people don't know that when you get guests or clients and they complain, you just need to listen and apologize to them. Don't try explaining yourself. He says, why is it that my food is late? I ordered this food for 30 minutes and you are now bringing me the food. Then the attendant is saying, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Sometimes I ask myself, you see, you as the job owner or the employer or the manager, you need to explain or teach that or educate that person, that employee. Let the employee know that, I mean, if we continue in this direction, we will lose all our customers. The purpose for which we are giving the service will not be achieved. Yeah. So it all boils down to the fact that, first of all, a lot of people do not have the know-how in the field. Yeah. They need training. We need to put ourselves in a certain position whereby, I mean, just like, I don't want to say, but the customer is always right.
Fantastic. Oh, you can. See, let me give you one example. And I may say things about myself. I don't like to say things about myself in class, but sometimes per conversation it comes up, all right? And to be very honest with you, since St. Augustine's College, I've lived abroad for so many years, all right? I've lived in Cote d'Ivoire, I've lived in Nigeria, I've lived South Africa. Eventually, I lived in England and I came here back, all right? Now, service quality, it's a personal thing, all right? Service, it's a lived experience, all right? It's a lived experience. And the reason I'm telling that it's a lived experience is that I've had opportunity. I used to work with C2 before I left, all right? C2 M&J Travel and Tours and things like that. And I was very young. So I was picking up from my boss, what do you call Marian. Marian, fantastic woman, all right, when it comes to service delivery. But at that young age, I could figure out how she wanted to do it. And I thought I had some of these traces of things, so I could do it. Now, eventually when I lived, for 18 years in England, and I came back, all right, having done service. Look, I've been frontline service advisor for so many years myself, all right? One understanding that I came across is that it is something that you must actually acquire it. It's an acquired behavior, all right? If you don't acquire it, you may be saying exactly the kind of thing that we say is that the customer is at fault, all right? I'll put you into the classroom. When I'm in class, and I've been on a number of occasions, students have said something and I've backtracked and said, okay, let's take what this student actually said. I think he's right, all right? I am not kidding you. Not so many lecturers can actually do that. Why? Because that service culture, it is actually something that is not in our culture. I am very, very honest with you, brutally honest. People hardly accept that it's their fault because it comes with punishment in our culture, all right? When you admit that you're at fault, it comes with punishment. It comes with consequences. So people hardly admit that it's their fault. Whereas elsewhere, admittance of fault is actually an honor. In fact, you get people to even tell you they are sorry because you have admitted that you are sorry. Let me tell you something. All right? Now, I remember there was an instance where on a phone, customer came onto the phone and they were angry. They were saying a lot of things and they said, go to your goddamn country, etc. So after paying attention, then later I said, I'm so sorry for angering you. Look, the lady ended up apologizing to me. And then she rather saying, I'm so sorry. And she started crying. All right. Now, the idea is that we must appreciate that no matter what the person thinks and is doing, because you are after their pocket, you want the money from their pocket, they can drag you. They can actually put something on your neck. So long as when they are done, they will give you the money. Massa, just keep quiet and get the dragging done and then take your money and then go your scot-free. Are you with me? So we must appreciate that the service quality, when people insult you and things, it is not about your person. When I used to work with T-Mobile, there's something that we were told that immediately a customer starts insulting, transfer that onto the brand. All right? Don't let it attach your person, because immediately you let it attach your person, that's where you're likely to retort and say, it's not my fault. Immediately the customer starts shouting, think that he's insulting the hotel. All right? And then keep apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You are apologizing from a personal capacity, but in your mind, you know that I heard about who is saying now, who is my boss, who is share hotel, who is. Do you get my point? And if we are sorry,
I said it's not easy that way.
No. It's tough. All right, it's tough, but that's how the posture should be. All right. Otherwise, you're gonna go out there. Look, when I get up on campus, all right, when I get up in the morning and I get to campus, I end up greeting. I will greet almost every student. Then I'll ask myself, but why am I greeting students? No, seriously. You see, because in my mind, the students that you are passing, all right, may be a student, of course, But if you fall down right now, who is standing by you? The person that you think is a student, and because of that you didn't greet just because you think you're a lecturer, right? But they're a student. So you just pass by and then you collapse. That's the same person who is standing by and supposed to lift you into a taxi, isn't it? Or see to your health. But you feel so big, which is our tradition, that the big person doesn't greet the small person. It's rather the small person that's supposed to greet the big person. You feel so big, and then you collapse. Who is there to lift you? It's the small person. Are you with me? Now, we must actually remove our bigness from the service that we are providing. Because immediately that comes to mind that, don't you know who I am? Do you think I'm just like this? Oh, I have some Mercedes-Benz sitting somewhere. I'm only just providing hotel services. My friend, you've lost the service. Are you with me? So we must actually bring ourselves to a level of servitude, not because we are subordinates, but because it is the right thing to do in order that you can get the money from the customer's pocket. And I'll give you another example. In Europe, in the UK, all right, when they are serving you, they will be using the word love. Oh, hi, love. Oh, what do you want, love? What? Look, if you are a silly guy like me, you may be thinking, oh, Charlie, get you crop you. Love. I'm telling you, the love that they're using, they want you to spend more money. Oh, is there anything else I can do for you, love? Oh, do you want this, love? Oh, do you want this? Before you realize, you'll be saying yes, 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 and the whole money from your pocket is gone, completely gone. Are you with me? So we've got to actually be in that mindset of making sure that our target is the pocket of the consumer. All right? Whatever they say about us, it is not about us. But we only have to respond positively, apologize, and get the service done, and then go away. Are you with me? Okay. Now let's speed up a little bit. How many minutes remain in us? Class rep, Patricia.
Yes, sir.
What's the time left?
Sir, now it's 8 o'clock.
Okay, what time?
And we are supposed to end at 8:30.
8:30. Okay, so we have some few minutes. All right. Are we following the session? Are we enjoying it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very much.
All right, excellent. So now let's look at the activity cycle quickly, and then maybe that could take us to the end of it. All right. So whatever hospitality or tourism area you're in, all right, have this mindset of the customer's journey, all right, which is the pre, the during, and the post journey, all right? And that journey is called activity cycle. Now, if you are an event planner, all right, if you're an event planner and you're actually going to put together an event, you know, for a client, what is the client's pre-activities, all right? What are the activities that the client is anticipating to do, you know, before the activity comes on? Now, if it's a guest house or it's a hotel that somebody is actually coming in, what is the client's pre-activities? You have to anticipate that, all right, so that you can add it to your strategy building, all right? And if you're a tour company, all right, what are some of the pre-tour activities of your clients that you must be aware of? Now, when you look at the activity cycle here, now, from the pre-position, you see what? What do you see? You see make future plans, right? You see blocks, all right? You see travel books, okay?
Travel books.
Yeah, you see travel books, you see friends, you see information search. What does that mean? It means that before somebody takes up a hospitality or tourism activity, they may be looking for information, isn't it? And the sources that they will be looking for information could be that they could be looking for information from travel books, all right? They may be asking friends for information, all right? They will be looking for travel logistics. They may be combing the internet, all right? They may be looking at travel portals. Now, all these sources that this client is actually doing these activities, are you there? Are you there? Do you have presence? Are you with me? You know that the activities that the client will do are one, they will be looking for travel books. Are you in travel books? Do you have presence in travel books? Which travel books are you in? They may be looking for friends to ask them, oh, Charlie, have you organized a party before? A birthday party? How did you organize it? Who did you contact? Now, those friends that these people will be asking, how many people do you have that could serve as word of mouth for you? All right? Which means that you need people to be telling them about what you do. You need people to be liking your pages on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. You need people to be talking about you so that when someone asks them about such and such activity, they can say, oh yeah, I know somebody who does that. All right? Information search. What information do people look out for? All right? So when they're looking out for hotels, what word do they use? Do they use hotels or do they use guest houses? You have to actually look out for the keywords that people use to search for accommodation. All right? So when people are actually going to Kumasi and they are searching for accommodation, what word do they normally use? Do they use the word hotel? Or they use guest house? Or they use
guest house?
What do they use?
Guest house.
Guest house. Exactly.
Yes.
Meanwhile, your website has the word hotel, hotel, hotel. And your search engine, you know search engine. Your search engine has only hotel, hotel as keywords. Yet people are using the word guest house. How are you going to pop up on the internet? When people are using guest house and you are using hotel as your keyword, are you with me? So you've got to identify the kind of keywords that people use in searching for accommodation. And once you know those keywords, you are embedding those keywords into your search engine optimization so that when they search the word guest houses, your company's name pops up. All right. Now, when people are looking for event planners, what word do they use to search for them? Do they use event planner, or do they use wedding planners, or do they use holiday makers, or what word do they use? You've got to search for those words. And once you identify those words, you use it to build your search engine optimization, to build your website, and people, when they search, they can find you. All right. So these are some of the things that you must be aware of. That the client would start with certain activities, and those activities are what we have here. They may be searching online, they may be searching on social media, they may be searching with friends, they may be searching in travel logistics, they may be looking at blogs, they may be looking at travel books. All these sources, are you there? Ask yourself. And if you're not there, how do you get there? It means you have to start building your profile to make sure that when people are searching for you, they can find you. Are you with me? Now, in this COVID era, how do people search for people or search for, what we call services? They may not be able to be going to people directly. A lot of people are searching on their phones, actually. All right, mobile search. Is your website mobile optimized? All right. If your website is not mobile optimized, then of course you have to get it mobile optimized. If it could be internet, all right. It could be, you could have websites, all right, but it's not optimized for the screen, mobile screen, right? And so you have to actually do that. Now, when the activity or when the customer is actually going to participate in the activity, let's say during the trip, if they are traveling to, let's say, Ghana on tourism, all right, they will visit places, they will buy artifacts. They may even, obviously, they will take a plane, maybe, all right? Now, when they take a plane, what are some of the things they're hearing? I remember when I was coming from England in my last vacation, there was a guy who was sitting by me. He's from Germany. Apparently, his first time of coming to Ghana, all right? And I met him, I joined, in fact, I flew from Manchester to Schiphol. So we met in Schiphol, and he was just sitting by me. And I could see the guy was jittering, like small thing, he watched my face, you know, somebody going to some place first time, you don't really know the place, but you want, maybe you don't have enough information as well. And I'm not also talking. And I could see that this guy wished he could have some conversation with me, all right? And you know, white people, some of them are too polite. So they don't want to say, oh, hi, are you a Ghanaian? And they don't know how to take it. So me, Charlie, I've been watching my movies and then sleep small, get up, get my wine, drink, and then sleep small. And whenever I look at the guy is looking at me some way, then he will smile a little bit. So along the line, I said, okay, let me engage this guy a little bit. So I asked him, I said, hi, how are you? He said, oh yeah, he's fine. Oh, hi. Then I said, where is he going? He said he's coming to Kokrobite. All right. Then I said, oh, Kokrobite, oh, that's nice. I said, have you been there before? He said, no. That's my first time. He's on some NGO projects, all right, for some young people stuff. So then I realized that that's why the guy wants to speak to me. So that's his first time coming to Accra. He can't wait to get to Accra, you know. Then I said, oh, yeah, Accra is fantastic. Then I have to sink in the reality of Accra to him a little bit, but in a very positive way, so that he doesn't say like, oh my God, what am I coming to do here? So I told him that, look, Accra is very, it's very boisterous, like it's very vibrant, all right? Because I didn't want to tell him that it's too noisy and two drivers, they drive anyhow, all right? So I had to tell him that, look, Accra is very, vibrant. It's a vibrant city. It's not as orderly as his hometown, Germany, but it has its own vibe. Oh, they say, yeah, I'm expecting that. I say, yeah, when the Trotro people do pa, you realize that you're not expecting it. But, but anyway, so I started engaging him in that. And I'm sure that he started having a picture. And even when we boarded the plane, these Ghanaians and their behaviors, and I put a bag, I show how you bag, from the back, that kind of thing. I realized the guy could actually figure a little bit of Ghanaianness in the plane, because already some people were already fighting about spaces and you bag, from a bag in show, so that kind of opposition. So he could see a little bit of Ghanaian action there, all right? So when I told him about Accra being a very vibrant city with its own vibe and things, I'm sure he could actually pick that out. So immediately during the visit, the person is actually imagining how the place would be like, all right? And so when you have your website, if you're a travel company, for example, and you have your website, and you are describing the city of Accra, you want to manage people's expectation with that type of character, that boisterousness, that ambience, that kind of, a different kind of vibe. You don't want to call it noisy, but you want to also let people know that it is not as orderly as your country, the way your country is orderly about, all right? So that people will have that set of expectations. And then again, when the person gets to the airport, all right, I mean, what is the first thing that we do when we get to venues, places? What do we do? Quick one. Whenever we get to a place first, what do we do? These days is a ritual. Pump up, pump up. Looks like you guys are a little bit dull. Pump up. Yeah? When you get to a place first, what do? Pump up.
I look for the directional signs.
You look for directional signs. When you get to a place first, like a place that you've been, the destination, immediately you get there, what do? Yeah? Pump up. Okay, 20 Ghana for whoever gets it right.
Hey, sir, you wash your hand with soap water.
Okay. That's the new COVID, right? You wash your hand. Okay. Before COVID came, what do we used to do? First thing.
So we take selfies.
We take selfie. Bingo. Now,
yes.
You have 20 Ghana with me. All right. So that's the craze now. All right. Wherever we get to, first thing, hey, Kale, I'm here. Selfie. Once you take the selfie, where does it go?
Onto our social media.
Straight away. Not two ways about that. Papa, on
Instagram. I disagree. Some of us are not social media friendly.
Oh, well, that's you. But a lot of us, that's what we do. All right. Wow. So majority of people, the first thing we do is selfie. All right. And once we take a selfie, we hit one on WhatsApp, one of our friends and families. The next is on Twitter or on Instagram. The next is on Facebook, isn't it? And then small commentary. I'm here. You know, the place is fantastic, or the places. So in that sense, and Kwame, let me ask you, do you have a selfie backdrop in your hotel?
No? Yes.
You have a selfie backdrop? Fantastic. Yes. You see, so because the first thing that people will do is that they want to take selfie. So the hotel's backdrop, if it's a logo, some nice backdrop, that makes people take nice photo that they can ship it onto social media, all right? That's the first thing you do. When you get to Kotoka, do you ever see
your girlfriend?
Sorry?
You don't want people to know that you are even here.
Well, it depends. You know, some people don't want others to know. You know, but majority of people, you can imagine you've been to Senchi first, all right? The first time you've been to Senchi, and then you want your friends to know that Charlie, you two, you hang out at some posh places, isn't it? So quickly, you just do your selfie. Hey guys, I'm at Senchi, you know, maybe you're not even going to sleep there. You're just going to pass through. Do you get it? So the first thing you want to do is to have selfie backgrounds, all right? Backgrounds that make people tell the story, all right? Make people tell the story of what is here, how that place is, etc., right? Meanwhile, when you get to Kotoka, there is no selfie backgrounds in Kotoka that actually allow people to take selfies. So you see people taking selfie in Kotoka on a very plain background or on background that have some human beings, etc. But it is supposed to communicate that, hello, welcome to Ghana, Akwa, this is Kotoka. So that background, people can use it to do the communication, isn't it? So we have to anticipate the kind of things that people would do and then incorporate that into our strategy, all right, so that people can activate the brand, all right? People can push the brand. Bad artifacts, all right? What are the artifacts are we showing? Now, you know that the people who are coming there are cultural and heritage, you know, tourists who are coming, or pilgrimage and spirituality customers who are coming. What are the artifacts that you have at your facility that actually depict culture and heritage, spirituality, and you know all these things that we are talking about? You've got to actually have those things so that the customer coming here would fit right into the narrative. All right. If you're actually going to do a setup, all right, maybe you are into events, you do like Mercedes does this drinks and things like that, all right? Asana, Sobolo, and things like that. What is the historic narrative about Asana, Mercedes? Tell me, what's the historic narrative about Asana? Yeah? Pump up. We are listening.
Hello?
Yeah, Mercedes.
Yes.
Tell us about historic narrative about Asana. We are listening to you.
Which group started drinking it? Where is it from? Which tribe properly? I mean,
exactly.
Is properly known?
Exactly. We are listening to you. So tell us the narrative.
Okay, so Asana is by the Ghans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not done. Tell us the narrative.
Well, that's all I know.
It started so many years ago as a result of just like how somebody invented Veronica markets, which are the people who use, I mean, those kind of things. The ingredients that make Asana and all those things.
Exactly. So you see, Mercedes, you have a lot of work to do. All your drinks must have their narrative. When were they made? At what time? Were they for war times? You know, why that drink? You know, who invented that? And the people who invented that, what was the reason, the rationale behind them? How has it changed over time? You know, and how is it sitting in contemporary times? What is the making process? You need to build that narrative so that when you actually arrange the drinks at an event, and the event is about, let's say, the year of return celebration, and you have done this fantastic, you know, activation of these drinks, you must have, you know, a glass, a narrative in a glass that actually speaks to the drink and say, Asana was a war drink that was actually done as so and so ingredient. It gave this particular, you know, fantastic, whatever. That is what you must do. Do you get it? And then you go to, you know, another drink. And then what was it? What was the element? Who was it for originally? You know, those are the things that you must do. So the person is actually drinking the Asana and is thinking, this drink was actually for warriors. Yeah? And then he's drinking it and he's feeling like, I'm a warrior. Yeah? And I'm feeling some warrior moves in me. Yeah? That's the kind of thing you have to be doing. So they drink not only for the drinking sake, but they drink the narrative in addition. Do you get it? That they can say the story around it. This is what we're talking about, the customer activity cycle. Because the customer is actually drinking it, and then he's going to look at it. You know, these foreigners, the way they do, they have a taste of it, and they look at it, and they say, wow, what is it about? You don't want them to be asking those questions. But the narrative is standing there. They can really say, oh, really? This is what, 1866? Oh, my God. Then he takes a phone and takes a photo of the Asana and then puts it on Instagram and say, I'm drinking an 1866, you know, a beer whale or whatever made by the warriors of the great people of Ghana tradition. Do you get it? And then he wheels it on Instagram. And then the people in New York, they take hold of it and they say, oh, I want to drink some Asana. Do you get it? That's how you create the narrative. Are you with me? That's what we're talking about. Okay? So post the trip or the post activity, again, people would want to tell story about it. They want to speak to their friends. They want to speak to their relatives about how wonderful some drink that they tasted called Asana in Accra was, and how they want to have the ingredients and prepare that. All right. They want to talk about how wonderful the slave, fountain was, and how that slave river was. They want to say all the nice stories, and you want to facilitate them to say the story. All right. So throughout their journey, you're helping them to take the photos, helping them to store the photos, helping them to tell the narrative, and then helping them to relive that narrative so that tomorrow they can come back and say, we had a very fulfilling time last year. We want to have another one again. Are you with me? So these are some of the things that we have to be doing. How do we use the customer activity cycle to build a strategy? And as Kwame was saying from the beginning, to be honest with you, I'm looking at hotels or facilities, even restaurants, who will start using VR cameras, all right, virtual reality cameras, to introduce people to the facility. In fact, if I come to your restaurant, I just don't want to be going around and say, oh, there's fufu, there is this. If you give me a VR camera, you remember those days when we were growing up, there was this people in when you go to the beach, yes, Antoine, no, that kind of thing that we used to watch, and then they press, and then you get it. This is how VR camera is, you know. VR camera was developed from that kind of concept. Today, if you go to a restaurant, I expect you to give me a VR camera, and then I can be going through food choices, all right? So I change the camera, the video, and I can see okoto and some, some banku with some impurities. And I say, Charlie, I like this one, but let me go and check another one. Then I can check another video, and I can see some snails with some owonine somewhere, all right? And then I say, Charlie, this one there will be cool, but let me check another. Do you get it? In fact, we should be able to use VR camera to even introduce guests to hotels, all right, to guest houses, or to even the drinks that we serve at events, all right? Because they will add new flavor, they will add new perspectives to what we want to do, and they can change our mindset of what we want to drink and what we want to eat without necessarily having seen it. This is what we are actually thinking about. How do we introduce technology into the kind of things that we do within the tourism space, all right? For people to come and be excited about our service. All right, sorry guys. All right. Any questions or contribution? Any questions or contribution? Okay, I think we'll end with the activity cycle here. We'll continue the next lecture, all right, so that you don't get bored. Pump up. I hope you have enjoyed it.
We have.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
Doc,
sir.
please, I want to ask a question. I've been meaning to ask that.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, you can go ahead now.
So, foreign students, are they tourists?
The foreign students, yes.
Could they be classified as tourists?
Yes, the foreign students. In fact, we have two categories of foreign students, right? We have those, in fact, two of them, those who come for 3 months, all right? 3 months to 1 year. And those who stay with us for the entire 3 years, all right? When they stay for the entire 3 years, they go beyond tourist, because we said tourist is within 1 year, all right? But that is the official definition. It still doesn't take them out to be, tourists, because the majority of them, they still would behave like tourists, all right? So that officially, we only categorize those up to 1 year as tourists. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other? Okay, guys, go and stretch and have some rest, some needed rest. We'll continue next time. Okay.
I wanted to ask something.
Yeah, Jemima, go on.
I like the ideas you are sharing with us, but everything comes at a cost. That you want to
yes.
build up. And really, the Ghanaian, let me even take Takadi for example.
Yeah.
I myself, I jog a lot, so I've been really taking keen interest in what is happening in the hospitality industry here in Takadi. And seriously, some of them are really suffering. Many, yes, there's oil and gas But seriously, in Takrady, if you ask me, if you don't really have some off-taker arrangements for the services you provide and the accommodation and facilities you provide, and you're like, oh, I have this service coming, it will be really difficult for you. So I think it's the cost element and how you do your pricing so that you don't lose your market share. That, yes, they are great ideas, but the cost element, many of them cannot afford. And that's my worry.
All right. That's a good point. Yeah. Who wants to answer that? The cost aspect. Okay. Before I answer, Bless, your hand is up. So let's listen to you then.
No, sir. Forgive me. I just wanted to know how I was going to get the 20 cities from my colleague.
Sorry. Say it again. Bless, we didn't hear you properly. Hello?
I was saying that I was so don't mind me. I was
Momo, hey, Momo, now Momo, please.
Was it a 20 Ghana? Bless. Bless. We still didn't hear you.
Sir, no, he said it. He said what I said.
Oh, I didn't hear. Kwame.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I didn't hear. Kwame, did you hear her?
No.
Yeah.
I did. Just by the way, she was just asking how she could get her 20 cities for
the 20 cities.
Oh,
yeah.
You promised 20 cities. The answer
But the 20 cities is mine.
The 20 cities now, Momo.
You can Momo to me.
Okay, so now you share with Bless.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, I can use it to buy Asana from Mercedes. Then you guys will share.
Why not?
But until she gives us the little description about Asana.
Okay. Okay. Let me answer Jemima's question before you guys go. You know, there's something about business that we must be mindful of. You don't have to spend heavens, all right, to make slight changes for people to really appreciate. You know, and I'm sure now if you ask Koku, we'll tell you, we have a program called Destination Legon. Unfortunately, this year, it didn't come up. But every year, the tourism class, we develop, concepts of how we can bring innovation within the tourism space. And we've been doing it for 8 months. In fact, the 8th session was supposed to be this year. And thank God to COVID-19, which my students are so pissed off, it didn't come on. Now, if you look at it, you can imagine the use of QR coding, QR code, all right? Yeah. QR code, I'm sure a lot of you know QR code, all right? Now, you can actually use QR code to introduce, certain technology into the space without necessarily spending too much money. How do you do that? Let's take, for example, Jemima, let's take, for example, your facility, okay? So you develop a QR coding tagging system, all right? And then in your facility, you want somebody to actually appreciate how the pots look like, all right? The Takrady pot, all right? Without necessarily going into the Takrady pot. So the person comes to stay in your facility, all right? But can use their phone, all right? Their handset like this, and then scan a QR code at your guest house. immediately they scan the QR code, the video of Takoradi Port actually pops up on their phone. Some short narrative about the port and its beauty and its surrounding area. They could actually watch tourism of the port. They could tour the port on their handsets without leaving the property. Do you get it? So they get to the rooms or the reception, and there's a storyboard, a small storyboard that talks about the history of Takoradi Port from 15 whatever, all right?
1928.
Okay, so 1928, all right? Yeah. Then you put it there. So the person gets intrigued a little bit and say, wow. So he just click here or scan here to watch, all right? Very short narrative. So the person just scans it. Here you are, there's a video of 1928 when the port was being built, all right? The person just takes 5 or let's say 1 minute, 2 minute video and watches it. And then once it finishes, there's another angle that says, if you want to watch more, maybe when the port now was grown into something else, click here. What are you doing? You are offering extra, reason why somebody has to be at the guest house, all right? So they could even use it to while away time. This project is what we're going to do this year. We were going to tag the entire Legon, all right, with QR coding, so that when you come to Legon and you didn't even know the campus, there's no need to ask people, where is this? You can be seeing what we call storyboards on campus and say, in 1922, Department of so-and-so was put up so-and-so. For more information, scan this code and listen to the video. Are you with me? Now, imagine that we do the same thing for Otumfuo's Palace, all right? Where you get to the palace, there's no need to go around the palace. Just at the entrance of the palace, you can actually scan and get to know the story of each of the things that have actually occupied the throne. How about that? That does not cost heavens. Are you with me? So the technology and the kind of thing that we're talking about, look, they don't cost a lot of money. It's about having the creative mindset and having the people, especially young people. And for me, I think that we have to actually start getting, as the young people, into the tourism space, the hospitality and tourism space, because we can redefine it by bringing in all these new stuff. I mean, look at this thing on Twitter. Don't rush, slow touch. You've seen that thing, right?
I participated in the video.
You participated with it?
Yes.
Why can't you even use it for your tourism promotion? Do you get it? Imagine that you want to change yourself into a Confanoche. You just don't rush, just you touch yourself a little bit, you change into Confanoche. You get it? You touch yourself a little bit, you change into Yasantua. All right? You are telling a narrative, a tourism narrative, all right? Telling people how Yasantua used to look like, all right? By doing the, what do you call, the costume, putting in the costume, and then you can use it to promote your own tourism business. Do you get it? If it's Mercedes Asana, you can just touch it and then it changes from Insefu to Asana. Don't rush, just touch, and then you touch and it changes to Abolo, yeah? And then don't rush, just touch, and then you touch and it changes to, let's say, you get my point. These are some of the popular culture that we can use to introduce some crazy ideas within the space to make it more exciting and for people to follow us, and then follow our thing. That is what I'm talking about. Hospitality and tourism can be fun, all right? And it can be so exciting, and it doesn't cost much, but you can get so much money. I'm telling you, you can get so much money. Are you with me? So let's bring in new ideas, popular culture, just like we use digital media, social media to do. Bring it into the space and let people follow us. Are you with me? Excellent.
Yes,
I hope you have enjoyed the lecture.
Okay, sure.
Yeah?
Tomorrow at same time?
Same time, yeah. We have class tomorrow, right?
Yes.
No,
Hey.
It's a different lecture.
No, it's the same.
we have
No,
Friday.
it's
We
different.
have Friday. We have research methods.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
so we don't have it tomorrow.
No.
I think I created the sessions
For 3 days.
Okay, so I'll
Yes.
tomorrow's. Then we'll do the following. All right. So Patricia will remind us when our next lecture is. Okay. All right. Okay. So let it be as fun as interactive as we have it today. Okay. Next time.
Sure.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right.
All right.
Thank you too. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye to everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.